No, to start with the chapter on the five virtues, which is very much at the end, by the way, like only this much. This can get finished in a single session also. I, however, don't have an intention of finishing it like this. I actually want to spend some time on it, because that forms, ideally, honestly speaking, the most important part of the this particular book. It's almost like saying that the higher form of divine energy will come when the virtues are very thoroughly built, something like that. Like the significance of an arhat or holy master, or even a great person, is based upon how developed their virtues are. What form of honesty, what form of anything that they practice, what is the degree to which they actually practice it. That I think is where we should be spending a lot more time on, right? Let's start. Let's start. Let's begin. To the Supreme God, to the Great Divine Father and the Great Divine Mother, thank you for your priceless blessings, for your divine light, divine love, divine guidance, divine love and mercy, inner healing and physical healing. Thank you for the inner strength to practice regularly. Thank you for the blessing of divine guidance, divine help, and divine protection. For illumination, for abundance, for prosperity, we thank you. Lord, to our great spiritual teacher, Master Chokuksoi, to the great Bodhisattva, mailing to all the great ones, to all the holy gurus, holy masters, great saints, archangels, holy angels, spiritual helpers, to our great higher soul, we extremely humbly thank you for your great blessings. Thank you, gratitude, respect, love. Thank you. We will do one Sharanagati. I, a humble soul, I am super conductive, super receptive to the priceless blessings coming from the Supreme God, passing through Lord Mahaguruji, mailing, passing through Master Chokuksoi. I, a humble soul, I'm super grateful. Crowd, identity, respect, heart, love. Thank you in full faith. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's begin. Um, let's begin. Achieving Manas with the higher soul, Master Chokuksoi. Last section on. I think we'd already read loving kindness, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, we want to continue with generosity and non-stealing today. Page number 228. 228. Okay, let's continue. Generosity and non-stealing. Generosity means sharing or giving. On the physical level, it is sharing or giving things or money wisely. Wisely means, did you check? Do they really need it? Or do they have but they don't want to spend? Or money can be better used somewhere else? A lot of these checks have to be done internally and externally wisely. The key to prosperity is in giving. If you have, see, the key to prosperity is in giving. The key to prosperity is in giving. If you have financial problems, the way to become prosperous is by using the law of karma through the practice of generosity and non stealing. If you want to receive, you have to give. If you have not planted something, how can you harvest anything? If you have not planted negative seeds, you will not harvest negative fruits. The law of karma gives you the ability to create your own destiny. Just think for a few moments about what you want in life. In general, whatever you want, that is what you give. See, it's simple. Master says, just think for a few moments, what do you want in life? In general, whatever you want, that is what you give to others. If you want good health, you begin by healing other people. You begin by doing things for other people which aid in their healing ability. For example, you give them money for their treatments. You give them money for the treatment. You give them you get healing done if you're not a healer. Many of these possibilities are there, right? Anyway, so point is, if you want to be prosperous, help other people start their businesses. For example, there are many companies that specialize in funding a startup. You know this, right? Like so many people, they fund startups. They're called angel investors or series investors or things like that. They fund companies and they fund startups. Now, The idea behind funding startups always has been that you help other people's business grow and prosper in turn, and you help them make a lot of money. In turn, are blessed with tremendous money. And angel investors usually have a lot of money with them. Of course, the logical way to think about it. So it says, whatever you want, that is what you give. If you want to be rich and prosperous, you have to practice generosity and non-stealing first. At the same time, practice moderation and non excessiveness. Live moderately by living within your means. Budget your money. After you have given tax and tithing, save 20% to 30% of what you earn. Save and invest. If you ask some people how they became rich, they will tell you that they have saved and invested their money. On the emotional level, you can be generous by being warm, nurturing, and supportive. Some people do not give love, but they expect to be loved. If you want love, you have to give love. You have to be like the sun, constantly radiating. It is up to other people whether they want to have the sun bath. Some people will accept your love while others may not. That is their problem, not yours. One thing in pranic healing struggle which I've also observed is people always expect that if you give, like, if you're loving and kind, people will be loving and kind to you. No, there is no rule like that. While you become loving and kind, please also make sure that you remove any form of tendency to expect fair treatments. People will not treat you fairly so many times. They will actually be totally unfair. From all possible angles, they'll be unfair. That will, I think, your quality of not asking for so much ideally is being built. That is good. That is good for you. That is good for everybody. Um, yeah. So Master says ki some people will accept love while others may not. That is their problem, not yours. Which means if it you your work, by the way, as a human being, is to tirelessly provide love to everybody. Once they're ready, they will be able to accept more of it. The time they're not ready, they will not even look at you. Something like that. Mentally, you can share knowledge and skills to people who are ready and willing to learn. You will notice that your understanding of a certain subject becomes deeper when you do this. If you want to master a subject matter, teach it. Give and you shall receive. This is the law. When the virtues are highly developed, this means that the higher soul, this is a beautiful portion. When the virtues are highly developed, this means that the higher soul has a greater connection or control over the incarnated soul and the body. Every time you refrain from unwholesome action, the connection with the higher soul increases. But every time you break the virtues, the connection becomes thinner. It's so clear. It's just evidently clear. All right. Um, Non-stealing means that a person should not take anything that does not belong to him. On the level of relationships, one should not, yes. On a level of relationships, one should not steal affection or covet the spouse of another. It also means, on a more subtle level, that one should not steal the merit or credit due to other people. Mental work is as real as physical work. In many instances, mental work requires considerable effort, energy, and time. One must practice non stealing not only in relation to physical properties but also in relation to intellectual properties. One thing which I used to do long, long back, early days of the pranic healing, and even before that, in the college, I would download movies via torrents. Um, they like somebody uploads a pirated version online, and you would go and download and watch the movie, right? That is not acceptable. For example, parodied softwares aren't acceptable. None of these are acceptable things, just so you know. Okay. Accurate perception and correct expression and non-falsehood. Soul is a being of divine intelligence. This quality manifests as accurate perception, correct expression, and non-falsehood. The soul is a being of divine intelligence. Divine intelligence. This quality manifests as accurate perception, correct expression, and non falsehood, which means you perceive things accurately. Based upon the quality of perception, you express appropriately or correctly, as correct as you can. And non falsehood means, of course, is one of the ways to say is in any of your interaction, you don't allow falsehood to intervene. Nothing that you say or is false. Or I mean, sometimes you give smart answers, of course, but like to save yourself from some situations and things like that. But if on like on an absolute basis, you're not somebody who's a liar. Master Choice says ki this is not limited to verbal expression. Page number 230. This is not limited to verbal expression. Correct expression may be in the form, physical form, mental form, emotional form. For example, sometimes the correct expression doesn't lie in talking or explaining your point of view, but giving a hug. Very powerful expression, by the way. It's emotional and physical also. Sometimes the expression, loving expression, is in the form of giving the money to the child who's been asking. No matter what the mind says, I shouldn't be giving him money, but sometimes the loving expression lies over there. Sometimes the loving expression lies in doing the mental hard work. So you can teach your child the subjects that he is learning at school. So you prepare yourself mentally to understand the subject matter. So you can teach your child more effectively whatever the book says. So many kinds of expressions out there. There's not only one form of expression. A decision is a form of expression. Managing an event or a company is a form of expression. Thus, one can see that this virtue is extremely broad. Under the virtue of accurate perception, correct expression, and non falsehood, the following qualities are to be developed. First, honesty and non lying to others and to one's self. Second, balancing the virtue of honesty and non lying with loving kindness and non injury. Under the virtue of, again, let's go there. Under the virtue of accurate perception and correct expression and non falsehood, the following qualities are to be developed. First is honesty and non lying. Second is balancing the virtue of honesty and non lying with others, sorry, with loving kindness and non injury. Third is different levels of truth and its facets. Fourth, discernment or discrimination and non superstitiousness. Fifth, humility, gratitude, and respect and non conceitedness. And sixth, fulfilling one's commitment and non irresponsibility. Seven, skillfulness in action and non panic reaction. Very nice. Let's go forward. Master Choice says, by the way, do you see how broad the virtue actually is? Like Master gave 7 parts straight. They are next levels, and of course, multifaceted. In its lowest form, accurate perception, correct expression, and non falsehood manifest as first, honesty and non lying. There are different levels of honesty. Practice a mature type of honesty towards other people and towards yourself. Do not lie to yourself. Do not lie to yourself. Do not lie to yourself. I think one of the practitioners once told me personally. We were talking about something, and he says that even if you lie to the whole world for whatever reason, don't lie to yourself. If you lie to yourself, you will have compromised to a very large degree your self-image, and that becomes very hard to recover. So, a very good self-image is built on the basis of self-righteousness or righteousness towards oneself at least. You may lie to the world, whoever do you lie to, but you don't lie to yourself. You should know your motives. Why did you do what you do? Other people may or may not have to know. Simple. All right. There are different levels of honesty. Practice a mature type of honesty towards other people and towards yourself. For example, sometimes if you have a person in your family who is, like somebody who suspects everything, shakki mijaj ka aadmi, right? You may not tell them everything because it creates problem in the house after that, for example, right? You may tell them, okay, you're going out for um, meeting a friend, but you go attend a meeting, for example, and or you go see, if your friend, if your family member has a big problem, or your mother-in-law has a problem, or somebody else has a problem, you don't tell them the whole story, okay? Just to keep peace in the house, you practice a mature type of honesty. You don't tell them exactly what they want to know, exactly what they're asking for, because that's not needed. They don't actually want to know that. Nobody really wants to know these things. And so to save yourself some tension, you say something which is almost true, but not like complete, because that will just make life worse inside the family. I'm not saying lie. I'm just saying be mature. When you have to say something, save yourself some trouble. And that is not really counted as a vice. As long as you're being truthful to yourself, saying, I'm doing this because I don't want problem in the house. And I'm not doing anything wrong, bad, or unethical. By if anybody will ask me, I'll tell them the truth. Nothing wrong, nothing bad, nothing unethical, nothing immoral. For example, if your friend has a problem with your mother has a problem with, say, you meeting your friend, a same gender friend, okay? And you know that you just have to meet this person because maybe that same person would have said something bad about the mother, for example, right? Or something else would have happened, right? Or maybe for the reason that your mother doesn't like your friend's mother, for example, hypothetically, okay? So, but you've got to meet because you have some things to discuss. Maybe you guys are working on a project, or whatever that is. So you don't have to exactly tell. You just can say, I'm just going to meet a friend. I'm just going outside. Go meet, finish your work, come back. Simple, done. You don't have to tell because it's not based upon accurate perception. So it's not about honesty anymore. It's about mature type of honesty. Do you understand the example that I gave right now? Something like that. But if you're doing something which you believe is something that you wouldn't be okay with anybody else, your your child or somebody else doing, you would save them from something with immoral in general, okay, unethical. Then that is where the virtues really come into the picture. Anyways, let's go forward. Think about all this, yeah. Master Choice says ki if you want to understand very deep spiritual teachings or develop sharpness and clarity of mind, you must practice honesty towards other people and yourself. This is very important. Oh, underline this line. This is very important. Why? When a person lies or fools other people, he generates the negative karma of distorting the perception of other people. Consequently, his own perceptions will be distorted. That is why, when he is presented with a simple truth, he cannot understand it. Understanding truth under such conditions is not karmically permissible. Why is it not karmically permissible? Because a person keeps on lying. No karmic permission of giving you a higher truth. Simple. Next, second point under this is balancing the virtue of honesty and non-lying with loving kindness and non-injury. What you call truth may only be partially true, and if you express it, the result may be disastrous. Let us say that the son of an 80-year-old mother died of lung infection, a complication of AIDS. Would you tell the old sickly mother that her favorite son, who was gay, died of AIDS? Is that mature honesty? No. Why? It goes against the virtue of loving kindness and non injury. Revealing the information will cause tremendous emotional and physical injury. A yogi who's intelligent would think, if I were to say this, I would cause tremendous damage to the mother. That would be unkind. I'll just say her son died of a lung infection. In doing so, he will still be able to let the mother know about the death of her son without unnecessarily causing more emotional pain. One should not use honesty out of malice or as a tool or a weapon to cause emotional pain or injury. Just I'll add to this. It is said that the best of the friends can be the worst of the foes, right? Or the biggest of the enemies, right? The reason it is said in this manner is because the best of the friends know all your secrets. And when they betray, they know all the soft spots that you have. So, which is why it is said that uh, one must not use honesty out of malice or as a tool or weapon to cause emotional pain or injury. Which is why when your dear friends become enemies, um, there is always this the pain is so much more because they knew who you were as a person, and when they came down to causing injury, they knew exactly where to hit you. You know, like they used what they knew about you as a weapon. This is misusing the virtue of honesty. If there is a conflict between the virtue of honesty and the virtue of kindness and non injury, kindness and non injury should prevail. Non lying means that one should not make untrue or false statements out of malice or with the intent to take advantage of other people. Again, non lying means that one should not make untrue or false statements out of malice or with the intent to take advantage of other people. Different levels of truth and its facets. Avoid all unnecessary lies. The word unnecessary is used because what you call truth may not be truth at all. It may be a half truth. Sometimes half truths or partial truths could be extremely injurious and dangerous. So one must be very careful. There are different levels of truth, and under these levels of truth are different facets of truth. For example, let us say that a circle A is the first level of truth. In Filipino, it is called tama. Circle B, which contains circle A, is the higher level of truth. It's called vasto. Then you have circle C, which contains circle A and circle B. This is the highest level of truth. It's called tumpak in Filipino. Truth is not only limited to three levels, there could be many levels of truth. Truth is dynamic, it is not static. From this, you can see that the matter is rather complicated. Not only are we looking at different levels of truth, but there are also different ways of looking at the truth. Truth is like a jewel, it is multifaceted. At each level of truth, there are at least seven ways of looking at a truth. It would require a chapter or a book to explain this in detail, so it will not be discussed here. Truth is beyond correct information. It is being able to see different facets and levels of a certain event or object and to act accordingly, properly, and if possible, kindly. So, act accordingly, properly, and if possible, kindly. Accurate perception must always be balanced. Fanatical attitudes or stands are extremely dangerous and usually very injurious, and therefore must be avoided. This is really, really powerful, by the way. Master Choice says in different facets of truth, there's Tama, Vasto, and Tumpak, right? If you ever talk to a child, the child may be telling a truth. Of course, children don't lie much, right? But you understand their truth in perspective of the bigger truth, right? For example, if he fell and if he got injured and he was playing with somebody, maybe the child will come and say, no, he pushed me. Of course, you know that the other child also, he wouldn't actually go and push, right? But in the game, something might have happened and, your child fell. So you don't actually go attack the other child. You just say, what, to your child, play nicely, play, play beautifully. However, if your daughter comes and tells you, so and so uncle, he was looking at me when I was playing for so long a time, you know by now there are higher levels of truth. There are people who are like this, and making sure that your child is safe. Sometimes you go down with your child when the child is playing and you actually observe, is there somebody who comes? See, high level of truth. You don't talk to it. You say, "Oh, no, no, you go play." You tell the child what they need to know. When he calls you, don't go there, for example. You tell the child that. If he holds your hand, you can shout. You just tell that. You don't tell anything else. But you work at the higher level of truth. Your functionality is not at this level. You give specific instructions applicable for a person who can understand this. If he comes close to you, run towards uh, your friend's mother immediately if I'm not there, okay? You tell your child some things like this, right? You prepare a child like this. But if there is but you operate from a higher level. You ask other mothers, does he watch your child also? Blah blah blah. You really inquire, you investigate properly. You look at the same thing from more facets than what you would usually do, right? Next, discrimination or discernment and non-superstitiousness. It is very important that when one is studying a certain subject, discrimination or discernment must be practiced. One should not just mentally swallow everything left and right simply because somebody or a guru said so, or because it is written in a book. To swallow everything that one sees or hears would be a complete disaster. It is important to study the subject matter thoroughly, check whether it's reasonable, and try to experiment based on reasoning on the results of the experiment and through experience, decide whether it is correct, partially correct, or incorrect. The Lord Buddha has said we must not believe in a thing simply because it is said, nor in traditions because they have been handed down from antiquity, nor in rumors as such, nor in writings by sages because sages wrote them, nor in fancies that we may suspect to have been inspired in us by a deva, as in a presumed spiritual inspiration, or from inferences drawn from some haphazard assumption we may have made, nor because what seems an analogical necessity, nor on the mere authority of our teachers or masters, but we are to believe when the writing, doctrine, or saying is corroborated by our own reason and consciousness. For this, I have taught you not to believe merely because you have heard, but when you believe of your own consciousness, then to act accordingly and abundantly. मतलब ये है, he is basically saying you don't believe anything unless and until you have experience it in your consciousness also. When you know the truth of something inside of yourself, only then believe something, which I think is a very, very fair ask. There was this some time when there are seniors in Pranic Healing Foundation, at least uh, Karnataka, who are very well known for study, by the way. And I have great respect for them, like very, like a big respect for them, actually. Actually, thanks to them that I got interested in studying, right? So what happened was that there was a point of time that somebody from the group, some of us are having some study, and one person was like, he was saying something very confidently, actually. I'm like, how do you know that? He says, because he said so. And I'm like, so? So what? Just because somebody said something, that doesn't make it true. And that person has a limited amount of understanding, much more than you and me, of course. But let's not call it truth. Let's just say, okay, his perspective is just leave it there. That's all. Let's not call it truth. Now, that is exactly what I think most people need to learn, that just because the book says so, because Master Choa says so, that doesn't make it true. It makes it a worthy competitor to truth, which means like a worthy truth to explore, because a person with great consciousness has said something like this. But that doesn't make it true. Just by the nature of itself, it doesn't make it true, right? Do you understand? So This is kind of crucial to actually know this thing. And so only something when it's been wrought in your consciousness is when you actually consider it to be true from any perspective. One must avoid superstitious beliefs in not on, I will tell you what, Shazam is giving a very beautiful piece of information these days, and I think it's, of course, regarding the Vasak of 2025, this and that, right? I'm sure he's doing his work to validate the information also. But it's your duty to go and check those books by your own self. Is it actually written over there? If it is written over there, what did it actually say what Sri Ram says? What Sri Ram is presenting is his own understanding of what will happen. You do, ideally don't just believe everything anybody says, even Master Danny. Point is, recheck, revalidate to the best of your ability. That'll make you reliable on the path. There are some times when I just say some things that somebody else have said because I can't validate it. I try many times, not always, but I try many times to say, okay, this person has said it. Or somebody, if I don't want to take the name, somebody known to me, important, has said this. So yeah. One must avoid superstitious beliefs, not only in esoteric subjects, but also in any field of knowledge. Everything must be questioned and tested, if possible. For example, you can question the fact that is there a subatomic particle? The point is, scientists are saying something, you have no way of validating it. Why would you believe something like that at all? So in those cases, it becomes not possible to validate some things unless your consciousness becomes such that it can go down to the minutest particle, explore it, um, and then it can also come back and you know like if unnecessarily you can either experiment with it in the laboratories where they have a collider, heron colliders, for example, or any of these things, or if you can do it within your meditation in the conscious meditation. There are two ways of doing it, right? Or you can read the papers, but papers can very logically say something which may or may not be true. I mean, of course, they presented a lot of experimental data and all of that, but unless you really verify it, I don't suggest that you only believe what the papers say, unless you can verify it. So say it's a good possible hypothesis, but then it doesn't change your life anyways right now. Master says that in certain areas where it is not possible to check the validity of a certain concept, if somebody with a good track record states it, then one can consider that statement as a temporary truth until one is in a position in the future to validate it. The development of discernment or non superstitiousness is extremely important. One must be able to discriminate between what is true and not true, what is lasting and not lasting, what is important and not important. Unless one develops this virtue to a high degree, spiritual progress would be rather slow. Mm, mm, mm. This is an answer to some of you or some of your questions. Okay, why am I not progressing fast enough? Master Choice says in page 235, first paragraph, last line, unless one develops this virtue to a high degree, spiritual progress would be rather slow. Number 5, humility, gratitude, and respect, and non conceitedness. In interacting with a spiritual teacher, one must practice humility and non conceitedness. Humility comes from self esteem, it comes from being aware of one's good points as well as one's weaknesses and deficiencies. People with self esteem tend to be humble, or good self esteem tend to be humble. People with low self esteem tend to be extremely conceited. When interacting with a spiritual guru, one must be humble. Otherwise, it is impossible to learn. The teacher will not teach the student anything. There should be Gratitude and respect, because without the teacher, spiritual progress is very slow. The spiritual debt to the teacher is very heavy and that is very difficult to repay. A student should feel extreme gratitude and respect to the Guru because of the tremendous benefits and blessings he or she has received and will continue to receive. Wow. When interacting with one's Guru, although there should be humility, respect, and gratitude, the student should have an objective, discerning mind. Teachings and practices may be questioned, but this should be done politely, not in a rude manner. A disciple has the right to question or to practice discernment, but not the right to be rude. It's just a juice, man. A disciple has the right to question or to practice discernment, but not the right to be rude. Fulfilling one's commitment and non irresponsibility. Before making a commitment, one must look into the matter very thoroughly, whether one is in a position to fulfill it. If not, one should not promise or commit anything. Once a commitment or promise has been made, it should be kept as much as possible. If a person says that he can handle a certain task, he should fulfill it. Not to do so is a sign of irresponsibility or lack of reliability. How many of us do this? How many of us sometimes, not always, but sometimes make commitment that without thinking and we don't end up fulfilling it, of course. हाँ हाँ मैं ट्रिप पे आऊंगा एक दिन के बाद अरे सॉरी आई कांट कम when when I go to market sometimes local shops my wife says get this and get that. I'm like yeah, yeah, okay, okay, okay. After I go there I forget. So I've started writing things down. It really helps to keep the to or write it in the phone and I take it. I don't want to be irresponsible, no? Let's go forward. Skillfulness in action and non-panic reaction. A person who is skillful in action is supposed to remain calm. By the way, what I've also learned over a period of time is I don't try and make promises which I can't fulfill. If I need some time to even make a commitment, I tell people, ki, you know what, let's talk about this exactly 10 days or 20 days afterwards. So I would have done my reflection, I would have analyzed myself, my capacity, and all of these things. Then I will go ahead and, if needed, make a promise. Otherwise, I will think this is what I can do, and that's that. उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं. Let's go forward. Skillfulness in action and non-panic reaction. A person who is skillful in action is supposed to remain calm and see things accurately, even in times of crisis. He should ask simple questions such as, what is exactly happening? What is the worst thing that can happen? What are the possible choices? Just by asking these simple questions, a person will be able to decide on the best course of action and act accordingly. To be able to achieve greatness, one should be able to withstand crisis or pressure. This is a golden line. To be able to achieve greatness, one should be able to withstand crisis or pressure. To be able to achieve greatness, one should be able to withstand crisis or pressure. The virtue of accurate perception, correct expression, and non falsehood is extremely broad. Just to elaborate on it thoroughly may require volumes of books. For example, in the judiciary systems, a person who is accused of a certain crime must be entitled to the, in quotes, due process of law. Due process is connected with the virtue of accurate perception and correct expression. In the judiciary field, yeah. In business, this virtue means proper business management. Accurate perception may be expressed through market testing, knowing exactly the condition of the industry and the strong points and weaknesses of the competitors. Correct expression comes through the formulation of business strategies that are required to act accordingly to a given situation. In the field of science, accurate perception means basic research. Correct expression is connected with technology or practical application of science. See, accurate perception means basic research. Correct expression is connected with technology or practical application of science. Accurate perception and correct expression is also connected with higher clairvoyance, which requires years of training. In yoga, accurate perception is connected with Gnana Yoga or the yoga of understanding. Correct expression is connected with Karma Yoga, the yoga of action, the yoga of service. As stated earlier, the virtue of accurate perception and correct expression would require volumes of books if we go into more details. This is so powerful stuff. Next, moderation and non-excessiveness. Page number 237. Moderation and non-excessiveness is also known as soul mastery. It is important that one should avoid extreme or excessive behavior and practice moderation. Financially, moderation and non-excessiveness means that one should avoid excessive and wasteful spending. If possible, one should save and invest about 20% to 30% of one's net earnings after tax and tithing. This is one of the keys to prosperity. But to enjoy life, to have fun, to work, and to have sex are all good, but they have to be done in moderation. Sex energy, when transmuted, serves as food for the higher centers. When this happens, a person becomes more intelligent and spiritual. However, when a person has a negative attitude towards sex, his sex energy cannot flow up due to sex energy cannot flow up to feed the upper centers. As a result, achieving spiritual illumination is very difficult, if not almost impossible. Having a puritanical attitude towards sex hampers spiritual development. This is a serious problem among yogis, swamis, and all kinds of religious people. Hmm. Yes, can who's okay for scanning? I mean, who is willing to volunteer? Okay, we'll scan two people. Okay, you have to turn the camera on, by the way. Without the camera, I can't scan any of you. Camera, camera, camera. Okay, Sejal ji, Atma Namaste. Let's Atma Namaste. 1 second. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna scan her. Okay, now. Yeah.
Atma Namaste, everyone. Atma Namaste, Gagan.
Okay, let's do a scanning on her. Okay, let's
Yeah.
scan. How high does the sex energy? Are you in the silence program by any chance? So I should know not to scan you right now.
Sorry.
Are you in the healing program that I run?
Yes.
Okay, then we can't scan you then. Sorry. Somebody else I need who is not a part of the healing program, but who would like to volunteer. Okay, fine. That's just another person of ours. Atma Namaste.
Atma Namaste, Gagan.
Atma Namaste. So everybody's seen Jitinder Ojha ji, right? So let's actually scan. Let's scan her. Let's scan. Jitinder Ojha ji is a stick, by the way. Yeah? That stick is Jitinder Ojha. Okay, let's scan. Let's scan the amount of sex energy that she has in the sex chakra, for example, is about this much. Okay. Do you do sex transmutation on a regular basis?
No.
Okay, good. Sex energy in her navel chakra is about this much. Sex energy in her I isolate you from my aura completely for now, completely. Okay. No, sex energy in the sex chakra is this much. Sex energy in the navel chakra is about this much. In the solar plexus is about this much. Sex energy in the heart chakra is about this much. In the throat chakra, sex energy is about this much, which is good. Your work seems to be requiring a lot of energy. Sex energy in the Ajna chakra is about this much. Ajna chakra. Sex energy in throat chakra, Ajna forehead chakra, sex energy is about this much. Your work is, what kind of work do you do? Creativity?
I am just a housewife, but I do lots of practice, and I am an architect.
Architect!
Yeah.
Do you see? Forehead for visualization, throat for detailing. It's clear. It's absolutely clear. These chakras are very, very beautifully developed, by the way. Huh? Sex energy in the crown chakra. Mm? But we see heart, Archana, and crown weren't as much of sex energy. But it's good, no? Two chakras receiving a lot of sex energy is good. Your visualization skill must be actually very powerful. Think about it. Your detailing, your visualization is imagination faculty must be quite strong. Very good. Let's scan somebody else and see where do we reach. Let's scan Bhuvanesh. We'll bring her on the spotlight, everyone. Atma Namaste, Atma Namaste, Atma Namaste.
Atma Namaste. Gagan.
Okay,
Pranam.
let's scan her, okay? How do you spell your name?
Bhuvaneshwari.
Bhuvanesh. Okay,
You
Bhuvanesh. Yeah, okay, great. So,
can call me Bhuvanesh.
right, let's scan her, okay? Before that, let's clean the hand. So we have a blank slate to start. I'm assuming this beautiful figure is Bhuvaneshwari, okay? Let's scan. Sex energy in the sex chakra. Are you in the stylist?
No,
Sex energy in the navel chakra. Sex energy in the front solar plexus. Mm-mm. Sex energy in the front solar plexus. Sex energy in the back, in the heart chakra. Mm. Sex energy in Bhuvaneshwari's throat chakra. Sex energy in her Agnya chakra. Very good. Sex energy in her forehead chakra. Sex energy in her crown chakra. Your practices are very regular, right?
yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I can see a lot of sex energy moving upwards, not completely all the way to the crown, but it's definitely moving upwards, definitely. One example, good practice like this. How many years have you been practicing approximately?
10 over years.
Huh?
10 over years.
10 years or so, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's kind of before 10 years, okay? Let's kind of before 5 years actually. Bhuvaneshwari ji, sex energy in the sex chakra. Hmm. In the navel chakra, in the solar plexus, the heart, in the achna, throat, crown, nothing. So very, very good progress. Congratulations. Very, very good. Very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah,
Thank you. Let's scan Kiran ji once, but then we'll come to Sejal ji, okay? Atma Namaste. Atma Namaste. Yeah, Atma Namaste. Everyone. Yeah, everyone can see her, right? Okay, great. So her name is Kiran Nath, okay? Um, this is Kiran Nath, the beautiful slender stick. Sex energy in the sex chakra. Hmm. Solar plexus. Heart. That's interesting. Throat. Ajna. Forehead. Wow. Crown. How do you have? Are you in the healing list by any chance?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Healing
You're
of
not,
my own?
right? Oh, you do sex.
Hmm?
You do super brain yoga, sex sublimation, or something like that.
I'm a no, I practice erratic.
Or you do super brain yoga very regularly, or sex sublimation.
No, not regularly because I do other things, but not super brain yoga regularly.
Who is doing healing on you?
Or my Didi.
My what?
Oh, my Didi Shashi.
She's doing.
Shashi Balanath.
She's
She's my elder sister. No, she's doing something for all of us, like in generation.
One second, one second, one second, one second, one second. Kiran, I isolate you from my aura completely. Let's check again, okay? This is too remarkable a result, actually. Kiran, a complete isolation from my aura. Let's scan. Sex energy in the sex chakra. Now the results are coming. Actual results. Navel chakra, sex energy
Okay.
in the solar plexus, sex energy in the heart chakra. It's still good, huh? By the way, it's just not bad. It's good. Sex energy in the throat chakra, sex energy in the ajna chakra, sex energy in the forehead chakra, crown chakra. These are the actual results.
Yeah, I know because it is getting blocked here. So
Yeah.
that's why it's not, you didn't find it above. I know that already. So I wanted to check
It,
for you to scan.
it also looks like the heart is quite developing quite well. It's a very
Yes, it's blocked here.
huh,
That's why you didn't find it up.
mm, good, good. Continue. I think you're doing
Yeah.
pretty well.
Thank you so much.
Let's scan for Shweta.
So,
You have to unmute your sorry, you have to open up the camera, yeah. Everyone can see Shweta Sahu. Okay, Atma Namaste. Everyone can see her, right? Atma Namaste. Atma Namaste. You're from Raipur, right?
Yes.
The same, yeah. I just want to make sure that I'm talking to the same person. Great. Sounds good. Let's scan her, okay? Shweta Sahu. Assuming Shweta Sahu is a lean straight. I isolate you from my aura 100%. Let's scan Shweta Sahu. Sex energy in the sex chakra. Sex energy in the um, solar plexus, in the heart, in the throat, in the ajna, in the forehead, in the crown. 6 months back, sex energy in the sex chakra, in the solar plexus, in the heart. 6 months back, in the heart, sex energy in the heart, in the throat, in the ajna, nothing. What happened in the past? Between 6 months, something major happened?
Some ups and downs,
No.
feel like practicing
Uh-huh.
more or like nothing like that.
Something, either somebody is really pulling sex energy up properly. This is this is not a normal person's thing at all. Are you in the healing program by any chance?
No, I do regular healing for myself. I'm not in your
Do you do
program.
sex sublimations by your own self?
Yes, very regular.
Good. Thank you. This is an example, by the way, everybody, of what sex sublimation on a regular basis done looks like. Thank you. This is a really good example. I hope everyone understood what a proper sex sublimation on a regular basis can change your your aura almost completely. By the way, thank you. Great. God bless you so much. Good example. Yeah, thank you. Really good example. Very inspiring. So this kind of a thing where sex energy is pulled up from the lower chakras and pushed into heart, throat, ajna, forehead, crown. Basically, the heart, throat, and the crown. These were the primary chakras, right? Um, is usually happens when you properly like do a proper sublimation or you do proper super brain yoga very regularly, by the way. The regularity is the key, and you don't generate a lot of lower emotions or lower attachments. When you let go of attachments, sex energy sublimates automatically to a good degree. But this is an unusually amazing case. Thank you for this. Let's go forward. Yeah. Shwetaji, are you wearing something? Are you wearing a ring or some rudraksha or some fancy thing? 1 second. I need to unmute you for a while. I'm not mentally satisfied with the answer even now. Are you wearing anything?
Here's the Rudraksh. That's it. Rudraksh Mala.
Since when?
1 year maybe.
Let's check once again. Let's check once again. I need to be a little bit more. Did anybody program and give it to you or what?
No, just I got it from Isha Foundation stall, Sadhguru's stall.
But they bless and keep it over there. Let's check. Let's check. Say 6 months back, 1 year back, Shweta Sahu, sex energy in the sex chakra. 1 year back is approximately this much. In the heart chakra, sex energy in 1 year back is almost nothing. So I'm counting 8 months back. Sex energy in the sex chakra is the same. Sex energy in the heart chakra is about the same. 6 months back, sex energy in the sex chakra is about the same. In fact, it's actually becoming bigger. I don't know why. Sex energy in the heart is, for example, even lesser. Sex energy, 3 months back, sex energy in her sex chakra is about 3 months back, it's about here. Something dramatically changed. 4 months back, sex energy in sex chakra is about here. 3 months back, precisely 3 months back, something happened. Sex energy became this. 2 months back, sex energy actually became the same. 1 month back, sex energy actually became this. Today, the sex energy in sex chakra is roughly about the same. Yeah. The best part is 3 months back, 4 months back, sex energy in your heart chakra grew to about the balancing with the sex chakra. This is balanced. Today, the sex energy in the sex energy in the heart chakra is the same as the. Something happened. You may not know about it, but something definitely happened. It's not your own doing because it's too perfectly balanced. Doesn't sound
Maybe
like.
Guru. I'm praying.
Sorry, I had to. Sorry, that got muted accidentally. But my point is, something definitely happened. Something powerfully, definitely happened in the process that you may not be aware of it, but it's too perfectly balanced. It is, by the way, how it's supposed to be balanced. Yeah. So Rudraksha, even if she removes the Rudraksha, the sex energy in the heart chakra will actually be this. There's no. It's not Rudraksha. There's something else happening. Even if she disconnects completely from the Rudraksha, Shveta sex energy in the heart chakra, in the sex chakra. Let's try. Can you try that for the experiment's sake? Is it possible?
Yes, sure.
Look at the Rudraksha and say, I completely disconnect from you at all levels. I just look at it and say, I disconnect from you at all levels.
Then disconnected myself from this Rudraksh on all level.
And keep it aside for some time, no? Yeah. Okay, let's check again. Let's check her again, okay? Same stick. All right, so sex energy right now of Shweta Sahu in the sex chakra. See, now, heart chakra, now, heart chakra, back. So where that is a very useful thing for you. It balances the movement of sex energy. Ideally, when you do sex sublimation properly and movement of sex energy, this tends to happen automatically. This is interesting, by the way. Thank you, Kiran, for the suggestion, by the way. It's a very good suggestion. Thank you. Yeah, please wear that back again. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Shwetaji. See, this is also how we figure out that some blessed instruments can be very useful to do specific kinds of transmutations. Interesting, very interesting. If you want to make somebody who is this is juicy stuff, man. I really like it. It's amazing. Sejal ji, okay, she's been saying for 3, 4, 5 times. Let's do her also. Okay, Atma Namaste, Sejal ji. 1 second. I can't see your anyways, let's just do hers, okay? Sejal Chokshi, okay? Let's do hers. I isolate you from my aura completely. Let's scan. Sex energy in her sex chakra, sex energy in her navel, sex energy in her heart, sex energy in her ajna, sex energy in her crown, in her forehead, in her throat, In her solar plexus, it's perfectly balanced. Let's scan 6 months back, just hypothetically see 6 months back, sex energy in her sex chakra, in her heart chakra, in her throat chakra, in her crown chakra 6 months back. But by the way, you see there's a shift, right? Did you also undergo something, or what happened with you?
Hello. I am doing regular practice, EY practice, and of course, the 2 months से आपका healing भी ले रही हूँ.
Oh
So
yeah.
two things are together.
So by the way, in the healings which I do transmutations for everybody. Like I pull everything up and put for like the way it looked like, it gets placed exactly like that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Gagan.
Take care. God bless you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, let's go forward right now. Okay, sorry, I didn't want to. I want actually. This chapter actually can get over in a short while. Yeah, we'll finish this. That's okay. We'll finish this. Okay, as long as your attitude towards sex is normal, the upward and the downward flow of energy is constant and automatic. There are two schools of thought: the puritanical school that says sex is dirty, and the liberal school that allows you to do sexually whatever you like. The moment you have a negative attitude, this sex energy is stuck, and as a result, cannot go up to feed the upper chakras. This may physically manifest as myoma in the reproductive organs or something more serious. On the other hand, having excessive sex is not advisable since there is hardly enough sex energy to go up to the feed the upper chakras. Most of it would have already been used. Both cases are therefore harmful. Take the middle path instead, the path of moderation and balance. Since sex energy is food for the upper chakra, there has to be moderation in engaging in the sex act. Enjoy sex intensely but moderately. By the way, this is the Holy Master saying, okay? Enjoy sex intensely but moderately. Don't overspend your sex energy. There is by the way, I actually, you know, walked up to a very known senior. Actually, I've gone to two or three seniors actually, asking what is moderation in sex? And they say it's individual for each person. There is no standard answer. Everyone should take this. I'm like, Arey, yaar, this is not even fair. But anyways, yeah. I think you need to really, really start using tremendous amount of it. What I can assure to you by my personal experiences, if you save a lot of sex energy, you can, and it should go on record saying you can spiritually regenerate to your previous spiritual achievements at a very fast rate. If you have made substantial spiritual progress in the past lives, probably you were baby arhat in the past life or a third initiate or whatever, you can achieve to those heights at a very fast rate by sex energy, proper cultivation of it. If you don't have enough stock, well, this incarnation will just pass by, that's all. And so, yeah, there's an important factor in spiritual practice that is not written in books, but which occurs frequently. When you meditate, higher energy comes down and goes into the sex and the basic chakra. When this occurs, the person gets very sexually activated. This is a dramatic change in the breathing pattern that reflects sexual excitement. There are three possible reactions. You can either react in a puritanical manner or just allow the sex drive to literally overwhelm you. Both are undesirable, but if you have a positive attitude, you can take the opportunity to achieve illumination and divine oneness. You realize that divine energy has come down to the sex and the basic areas. This means the Kundalini energy is about to go up to the crown chakra. Practice stillness and awareness. Practice stillness and awareness. Do not suppress the sexual desire. Just let the sexual excitement of or sex energy flow to the upper chakras. Connect the tongue to the palate and do the chin mudra. to facilitate transmutation of sex energy. The chin mudra is done by bending the forefinger and connecting its tip to the tip of the thumb. Do this mudra with both hands for as long as necessary. This may last for 30 minutes or even longer. The moment you do these things, the Kundalini and sex energy will flow to the upper chakras up to the crown chakra. This will result in a certain degree of spiritual experience. The key is to transmute, not suppress. Wow. Do not use the chin mudra all the time because it means, in quotes, no money. The basic chakra becomes small, which means difficulty in earning money since the basic chakra is connected with earning a living. Constancy of aim and effort, non laziness. There was a story about a spiritual aspirant who was looking for a guru all over India. One day he saw a guru meditating near a lake. He sat beside the teacher and waited. Finally, the guru opened his eyes and said, "What can I do for you?" The student answered, "I would like to achieve illumination in a very short period of time." The guru said, "Very good, my son." Then he held the head of the student and pulled into the water. Finally, when the student was almost drowning, he pulled up pulled him up by the head. He asked the student, "What did you desire most when you were drowning?" "Air," replied the student. To this, the teacher said, "If you can desire illumination as much as you desire air, you will have it fast." This author once met, before we go forward, I would like to talk to you a little bit about today about what happened in the scanning that we did. We realized that for a very well balanced, I mean, for a person who's supposed to live a very well balanced life, all the chakras should have equal amounts of sex energy, ideally. You see, equal everywhere. That means that those that are not fed properly, like like if you've been a very hard-hearted person, you need more sex energy in the heart chakra than in solar plexus, for example, to balance it out, right? If you've been a very creative person for the whole life, your throat chakra would have tremendous amount of sex energy actually. But your forehead, your crown, your heart may not actually, right? Depending upon the kind of person we're talking about. So the goal is to make everything very equal. Now, if you do regular super brain yoga very regularly, proper breathing and everything else, you will make sure that every chakra gets fed to the amount that they need. First thing. Second, we also saw that Shweta ji is wearing something which is very peculiarly blessed. Uh, I think mala from the Isha Yoga ashram, which I think does a work of sex transportation. I think something like that, and that is very very useful also. By the way, so you see, external aids are also useful. Third is in the way that I heal people, I also supplement everything at the right proportions. So there are multiple ways, but make very sure that you keep sublimating. Even if you're not doing any of these things, make sure at least you do your own sublimations properly. That's the key thing which I want you guys to know today. If you want to progress faster in the spiritual path, sex energy has to be saved, it has to be utilized to feed the upper chakras. Let's go forward. This author, Matlab Master Choy Kuksoi, once met a yogi who was initiated by a certain Swami. The Swami gave him a certain technique. The yogi meditated immediately. He ate and slept very little. After meditating almost non-stop for several days, he achieved samadhi. Some of you already have teachers and you have been told to meditate. You decide to meditate at night, but instead of meditating, you say, "Let me read the newspaper first," or "Let me watch TV," or "I'll listen to music first," or "Let me call my friend." When the night comes, your body is already tired and you say, "Let me go to sleep. I'll meditate tomorrow." Tomorrow comes and you go through the same thing. This goes on for months or years. This is why you need constancy of aim and effort. This virtue also means non procrastination. You have to decide whether you want to do spiritual practice or not. Nobody can force you. Practice only when you really want to practice and not because everybody is meditating. When you have decided to meditate regularly, make a schedule and follow it. Constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness is a key to success in spiritual development. Powerful stuff, juicy line. Also, do your meditation in the same place. Have you not noticed that meditating is easier when done in the same place? If you move to another area, your mind tends to waver. Why? When you meditate in the same place, the spiritual energy that is generated impregnates the room. So the moment you sit down, your mind and emotions become quiet. On the other hand, a new place has all kinds of thoughts and emotions floating around. It is psychically polluted. Good stuff. Somebody asked, can we do sex meditation in fibroids? Um, I don't know this. I'll be honest, I don't know this. You may ask somebody else who's a more senior, like a trainer, female trainer, um, or write to Master Faith on Facebook. She'll reply. What is the effect of regular great invocation practice on sex chakra? Is it advisable to do super brain yoga after GI? Do super brain yoga before great invocation, or why afterwards? Great invocation is a technique in which you bring down, well, like, you become a channel. You don't bring anything in your system. Be a channel, release. Of course, you also get charged up, but it's like a meditation because it brings tremendous amount of energy down. That's all. So sometimes, like any meditation, it can also activate the sex chakra a little bit more. But then any meditation can do that, by the way. If you're practicing purifications, nothing is a problem for you. All right, let's go forward. By the way, great invocation we'll know tomorrow morning. Yeah, all of us. Just it is like woo woo woo, buzzing. Like radium. Okay. 243. Avoiding excessive remorse. Spiritual evolution implies a process, and process implies time. It implies mistakes. With some people, their conscience is oversensitive. They think that they are the worst people on earth when they make a small mistake. If you keep on recalling the wrong things you have done and you keep on criticizing yourself, it will be almost impossible to correct the mistake and or to remove the vice. What you meditate on, you become. What should you do? First, mentally erase the unwholesome event, right? Like you hurt somebody, you stole from somebody, whatever. You did an affair, erase it off, okay? Then imagine what you are doing. Then imagine you are doing, saying, and feeling the right thing. Imagine, too, that the other person involved is reacting in the right way. Why? This is the power of materialization. What you think repeatedly with certainty will tend to manifest. Repeated wholesome thoughts and emotions manifest as wholesome action. Repeated wholesome actions manifest as virtue. Same holds true for negative thoughts also. Clean, clear, plain, simple. Whatever you think repeatedly with certainty will tend to manifest. This is, by the way, the technique that many of the people, the young people today, use to practice manifestation. They visualize with assurance that whatever their goal is has manifested. They visualize a lot. And this is called meditation in a certain sense. It's called a meditation with certainty, right? And that will tend to materialize. This thought form becomes very strong, very, very powerful. And that usually the problem is that these are ugly. Nobody really materializes thing for other people. They want more money, sexual partner, or job, or a promotion, or whatever. Like these are the kind of things people actually materialize. Like somebody, a friend of mine, was a fairly solid clairvoyant actually, and a very pure person to even think of sex for that matter. She was roaming around in the ashram hall, I think, dining hall. And she came back to room and she shared with us that she actually saw, when she was very, very good clairvoyant. She actually saw that there's a thought form that she picked up of somebody else, which was so definite in terms of a group, like, I don't know what it's called as, but like group of people having sex, right? Um, and she's like, it was so high definition, the image that she picked up, that she could smell the image. She could see the droplets of sweat on the skin. And then, so she was sharing her feedback, and I was like, this is the crafted image. This is the image which somebody has really meditated on for a long, 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 long time. You see, this is how people practice manifestation. My problem with this is, if you get what you want, the thought form still stays in your aura. If you don't get what you want, the thought form still stays in your aura. The thought form will continue to tax you, tax you, tax you, tax you so much, make you crazy. This is the making of the seeds, by the way. The seeds are formed like this. These samskaras are formed like this. The karma is created like this, which you will someday have to work out, sometime or the other. Let's go forward. Master Choya says, repeated wholesome thoughts and emotions manifest as wholesome action. Repeated wholesome actions manifest as virtue. The same holds true for negative thoughts also. Last section, the law of karma and the golden rule. If you study different religions all over the world, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and others, they have several basic teachings that are similar, such as the law of karma. What you sow is what you reap. Some people misunderstand this teaching. When something happens, they say, in quotes, it's my karma, I cannot do anything about it. But karma is not fatalistic. For example, you complain that all you have is rice from morning till night. But you harvest rice because you have planted rice. Plant wheat, potatoes, tomatoes, and you will have a variety of foods to eat. You can control the future by using the law of karma. The law of karma gives you the ability to create your own destiny. You can change your life in this incarnation. You do not have to wait for the next life. So powerful, so meaningful. I'm going to again read this. You can control your future by using the law of karma. The law of karma gives you the ability to create your destiny. You want to be rich? Start tithing, start tithing, start tithing, start tithing, start tithing. You want to be very healthy? Heal people, heal people, heal people. You want to be very successful in relationships? Of course, forgive other people, and bless a lot of people in the world with love, 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 love. So purity, learn your lessons also, of course. And yeah, many, many things will turn around. Arthur Cho says the golden rule is actually the spiritual technique to create your future and destiny. Some people have had a hard life, but through the use of the law of karma, they've become very rich. Take the case of a certain businessman. The government took away his family's properties when he was still a young boy. They had to live in a small house. They almost had nothing. Later, the first business he put up was making balloons. Then he expanded to other businesses. Through intelligent hard work and a big heart, sharing and giving, his company became very prosperous. His family now is very wealthy. Besides the law of karma, the golden rule is another basic teaching common to all religions in the world. The golden rule states, do not do unto others what you do not want others to do unto you. In its reverse form, it says, do unto others what you want others to do unto you. If you want people to be nice to you, smile at them and they will smile back at you. If you frown, people will leave you alone. If you want to be helped in times of need, you have to help others as well. For instance, when there is a calamity in a certain area, you can donate some money to the charitable or the spiritual organization that is in charge of helping the victims. If you do not want to experience hunger, feed the poor. If you do not want to be cheated, do not cheat others. If you do not want your goods stolen, do not take what does not belong to you. The golden rule is actually the spiritual technique to create your future and destiny. Now, I'd like you still have about 10 minutes more, right? Make sure that after this session gets over, you please spend some time in seeing which areas of life do you want to change in, and see what can you do to bring about specific changes in those areas of life. This is one of my requests for all of you. If you are serious about seeing changes in specific areas of your life, do this for about 10 minutes and see where do you reach. The thought process should become like that, by the way. All right, let's do closing prayer. To the Supreme God, to the Great Divine Father and the Great Divine Mother, thank you for your great blessings. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. To our great spiritual teacher, to all the great spiritual teachers, to all the great gods and goddesses, to all the great, great ones, we incredibly humbly thank you for your great blessings. Thank you so much. Gratitude, respect, love. Thank you in full faith. Thank you. Tomorrow morning, 6:50 a.m., great invocation, 11 times blessing your city. All right, don't be late. Come on time. Come a little bit before time, by the way. See you. Bye. Take care. Have fun. Next week will be a break because after every book finishes, we take a break, and we'll start another book. I'll post about the book very soon in the groups. Take care. Bye. Have fun.